ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and this is Just Plain Living.
Good morning, Peggy Burton.
And I'm Jim Puller. Julia was commenting before we came on about live on tape or something, which
From the metropolis of Tullahoma.
The metropolis of Tullahoma. And, you know, and actually, if you recall, this show, we used to do this show live.
Oh, yes. We did a lot of shows live.
And, you know, I think that's not a bad idea. I loved Carol Burnett's show because it was live. Go ahead, I'm interrupting.
You know, finally we decided, you know, we're probably pretty lucky that we haven't really messed something up.
Offended anybody real bad.
But we did it live probably for 5 years.
Yeah.
I guess.
Late nights, longer than that.
It could have been.
And it was a test. You know, but the thing about it is live performance is wonderful. It makes you have to be ready, and you have to be clear.
You have to
and you have to be able, even if you make mistakes or whatever, you have to be able to. The show must go on. Well, the thing about this show was, we did it out of the bar at the American Legion.
Yeah.
We did it Thursday morning.
Right.
After karaoke night on Wednesday night, which at 2 o'clock in the morning, Fuller and I were singing "Baby Got Back," and 5 hours or 6 hours later, we might have a preacher or the mayor or somebody coming on this show right here, which is a family-oriented thing.
Absolutely.
And that transition is not always easy,
especially if you haven't had any sleep.
No sleep.
You know, so.
Maybe one too many cocktails. Or four.
You guys.
There was a time in our life where the cocktails helped you to be where you needed to be and mentally.
There was a time in your life when you both should have been locked up.
Probably so.
True.
We'd have probably seen you in the cell next to
the acting police chief, however, is in the studio right now, so we just want to be clear about this, that the times that we were speaking of, they've been gone for a lot of years.
What is that they call, they say, long in the tooth?
Yeah.
We're long in the tooth.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I know, and it comes on too soon.
And short in the pocketbook.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, right.
They were back in those days. I mean, I can remember at one point in my life, if I had $50. This is before I was married.
Rich.
Yeah.
Before I was married, $50 was enough money for me to leave town.
Yeah.
And get far enough away where I couldn't come back.
Right.
So you had to find something to do, find a job and work. And that took me to Florida, to California.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd just get $50 and I'd say, I'll see y'all. I'm headed south or I'm headed west, and off I'd go.
$50 now won't pay your way to
John
Manchester.
was always a little crazy, I have to say.
Always.
Well, it kept me from going insane.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's a great line.
This is not a news bulletin.
You know, I've told this story many, many times, but when we're talking about doing live television, but I don't think I've told it in the last 5 or 6 years. So probably.
If you have, we forgot.
We forgot it.
We want to hear it.
Don't worry about it.
One of my most memorable moments of live TV was when Benny Garrick was doing the show, hosting the show with us, and. Benny never did a whole lot of preparation for anything, you know. And so one day we were doing the show, and again, it's at the Legion, so everything's temporary. And so we've got all the broadcasting equipment set up there in the bar, and there were 2 people at that point that actually could run the switching equipment, and one of them was Joe, and one of them was me, and I was on the air, and all of a sudden, Joe had to go to the bathroom. Joe Henry, our partner, and so it was just as we were live, and we were coming back from a commercial break, and I said, Benny, you're going to have to cover this interview, which I was scheduled to do, because I'm going to have to run this equipment until Joe gets back. Well, Benny didn't have a clue who the guest was, and the guest was Mary Weiss. And Mary was there to talk about hospice. When she was first starting that, and so we come back live, and Benny's sitting there, and he doesn't know Mary or why she's there. So he just did the obvious thing. He looks over at Mary and says, "Okay, who are you and why are you here? You know,
that works.
Yeah.
That works.
It's a good question.
Yeah, right.
Teddy Bart, who was a dear friend of mine, and a lot of y'all remember Teddy, and some of you don't at all, was an interviewer and entertainer in Nashville for forever.
Yes, and very good at it.
Very good at it. Interviewed 7 presidents, and I mean, he just had it all. And he told me a good interviewer only asks one question. Don't ever bring a question list up on stage with you. You got one question that you know enough about the guests to get them talking about their subject matter. And that's it, because they know more about it than you do, and the audience doesn't want to hear you. They want to hear what your guest has to say.
And they really don't want to hear a made-up question.
No, and then if you listen, it's very important when you're interviewing someone to listen. Jimmy's one of the best at this I've ever seen. Because when there's a slow spot, you will have gleaned the next question out of what they're saying. And so many times you'll watch interviewers on TV or hear them on the radio where they will ask a guest a question that they just answered. Mm-hmm. Because the person interviewing wasn't paying attention, was more concerned about his or her next question than about what their guests were talking about.
Right.
And so that was a very good lesson learned from our friend Teddy Bart.
It is, and I've actually, in my early days, there have been times when I've done that. I was thinking of somewhere else and not listening.
It's easy to do.
Yeah, not listening to the questions.
We all black out once in a while.
So, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. You
Well,
really don't know.
it is, and the thing about it is a lot of them don't even realize they've done it.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that thing I heard on, I guess, the Day Show several months ago that, and I've said this before, one of the most important things you can do for brain health is to talk to strangers.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking to your friends, you can zone out because you have history.
Yeah, you've got some
You know where they're
Yeah.
going, and you can click back in anytime you want to. But when you're talking to a stranger, which most of the time when you're interviewing people, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention, and that is good exercise for your brain.
This
Do
is
you
gonna
notice how
cause
much
us-
I'm listening?
You're doing good, Peggy.
This is going to cause us to be tremendous, totally jinxed today. We're
Today,
probably
yeah.
going to mess up. But there are a couple of things that I recall over my career, a couple of instances where at least one where I just totally over-prepared, and that was another interview with Benny and I. And we had Bill Wade, and most of you don't know who Bill Wade was, but Bill Wade was a quarterback at Vanderbilt and later was a professional quarterback. And Bill was probably in his 70s at that point,
Yeah.
you know. And but here is a NFL quarterback, former NFL quarterback. He's coming to be on our show, and Benny worked it out, and it took
Got all those
forever to get it
questions?
in. And so I'm looking up the history of Bill Wade because I really didn't know him that well. But I knew the name, and Benny did, and we'd spent hours preparing for that. And anyway, thinking hopefully we're going to be able to make this 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, Bill
We'll never get
Bill
through
Wade
it.
comes in and sits down, and I ask him one question, and I doubt if I ever said anything else. And then it lasted about 45 minutes, and Bill talked the entire
The
way
whole
through, and just did a great
And you-
job.
and
had
you
so
wasted all that time.
I wasted all that time preparing for it. The other time, John asked me one time Johnny had an interview with Johnny Majors,
We did.
former UT football coach, and John asked me, "Would you sit in on this?" Because I know he knew I was a big UT fan.
Sure.
He is too, but
and knew the history.
yeah, but I was amazed. Johnny, we had thought it was going to be about 15, 20 minute interview. Johnny Majors had so much
to say. Wow, he's full of
information,
information.
interesting stuff, and we talked to Johnny for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Great.
About 90 minutes.
And when I called him up and set that interview up, it was kind of funny. I called him, and because his brother, Bobby, his brother, was a friend of mine and a competitor of mine in sports when I was in high school. And then, of course, Joe was an attorney here in town, and Larry, his brother, lives here in town. And so I called Johnny up, and we were setting this thing up, and he said something about, well, I'll check on this. And I said, well, yes, sir, that'd be fine. Why don't you check your schedule and call me back? And he said, excuse me? And I said, why don't you check your schedule and call me back? You know, he called me, and he said, that's not the way this goes, son. He said, if any phone calling's done, you'll be calling me. I won't be calling you. And I thought, oh, yeah, that's right. This is Johnny Pictures. And he said, we'll do about 15 minutes. Is that enough? And I said, yeah. And he wanted Eric Sosby to be here because he and Eric were friends.
Sure.
And played together. And so he showed up, and that, like Jimmy said, that 15 minutes with one question, and then we had a couple other little bumper questions that we had because we were getting ready to get a new coach and all that.
Right.
He was liquid smooth, man.
Right, exactly.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, and I heard him on 93.9 The Duck one Saturday morning. They called him up, and this has been fairly recently. This guy's sharp. He knows that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he knows that football.
He knows that stuff. He sure does. But we're all getting a little bit older, and sometimes stuff doesn't come back as easy as you want it. Yeah, I know.
Don't hammer it home.
I'm not. We'll be here till we're gone.
Yeah, and you know, I think the reason he does that is because John is the youngest person on the stage.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why he keeps bringing the
How about
stuff.
the Predators? Are y'all watching that?
Predators, yeah. They won. They got. Well, I guess they're playing what, tomorrow night? Or, no, it's tonight.
It's tonight, I think.
Right.
Oh, whoops, Thursday.
When? Thursday, Game 7. So Nashville's just blowing apart.
I understand the Predators have the best record in professional hockey this year.
I think
but
so.
Of course, all that's out the window when you get to the playoffs.
Doesn't make a difference now.
But
evidently, they've got this goalie that's a superstar, but every now and then he just doesn't show up at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those guys that's brilliant, and every now and then.
Sometimes?
Well, no, I mean he shows, but his game doesn't show.
His game doesn't show. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I guess you get kind of tired every now and then.
I would imagine so. And some days you're not on your game.
Well,
yeah, that's right. That's right. But they're doing a great job, and we're proud of them. There's my beautiful honey Fran right there coming in.
Has anybody told you yet how lucky you are to have her?
For 44 years they have.
Yeah, oh, okay. All right, great.
And I've agreed every year. Every year I've agreed.
Smart guy.
She's the light of my life and probably the reason I'm still alive to be sitting up here. Wouldn't have been for her, I'd probably been in handcuffs or in a pine box.
I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
But here we are, folks, and we're so glad you're here with us. Don't you go away because we're going to have a good show for you today. Becky Buller's going to be on today.
Oh,
we're going to have the surrogate chief is on today. And
we're having Kelly North from the chamber in Shelbyville. I was fixing to say shovel.
Shovel. And then the girls from it's almost poppy sale time. So, and we don't want you to forget, this Saturday is the Saturday that the postal carriers are picking up food. And so you hang it off the flag on your mailbox to support our local food banks. Thank you very much for doing that, and thank them very much for doing that. We'll be right back.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck.
Big, bigger, and even bigger. Russell Barnett has any size truck for any size need. Chevrolet, Ford, GMC, Ram. Check us out on the web at russellbarnett.com. Our selection is so huge, we may need our own zip code. So my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
With the best selection anywhere, Russell's got your truck, man.
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our segment we refer to as Police Pointers, where we try to give you a little information about police matters in the local area here, and normally hosted by Paul Blackwell, Police Chief, who is now interim City Administrator, and we're pleased to have with us Captain George Marsh, who is now the Acting Police Chief. You've been on the job 2 weeks, George. How's it going so far?
Well, actually, I've been on this job since Friday at 4:30.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
It's going.
Yeah, okay. Well, you've kind of been around the police department. The department, you've been around the police force for several years, so you probably have a pretty good idea what's going on there.
Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah. You're working nights, though, and now you're working days.
Right.
What sort of a change is that for you?
Well, you had to change your whole habits, your whole living habits, sleeping habits. It took me longer than I thought it would to adjust to sleeping days, or sleeping at night and working days.
Yeah.
I'd want to get up I couldn't go to sleep until 2, want to get up at 4. So the first couple of weeks was rough, trying to adjust to that.
I worked the 11 to 7 shift one time, and it was awful hard to adjust to that. I couldn't, of course I was younger then, but I didn't want to sleep at the time you were supposed to sleep because there was too much going on, but eventually you get to where you have to. So.
Right, and when you got children, you're up during the day doing all that.
True, yeah.
Ball games, practices.
Children?
Now I've got one that's 11 years old living at home with me, and 2 nieces that live with us at home, and the 4 other children they're out of the home.
Yeah,
they've got their own lives.
Yeah, right. I hadn't thought about that, because that you would have a tendency to want to just continue to stay up and do all the things that normal people do, because it's not really normal to work those particular hours.
But you work those hours on the weekends also, so you got ball practices and ball games that you have to attend. It's just a lot less sleep.
Yeah. But I assume everything's faring pretty well so far.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
It is.
So you don't have to be worried out there, citizens of Tullahoma. You're in good hands here. We're not sure even if Chief Blackwell is coming back. He may stay in that job. We don't know. In that case, you'll probably stay in this one. So
for right now, that's all that's open right now.
That's right.
I don't know what his plans are right now. I'm sure he don't at this point right now either.
Exactly. You have you wanted to give us some information today, I think, about parking.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's parking against traffic.
Yeah.
We have a lot of complaints on this on a daily basis. People are obstructing the roadways. Basically, what is the Tennessee Code annotated 558161 states that when you're parking, you must park with your right-hand wheels against the curb if there is a curb there, or 18 inches from that curb, no more than 18 inches from that curb. And the reason you do that is you don't want to park on the left-hand side, because then you're going to have to cross into traffic to come back across, or make a U-turn to come back into that traffic.
Makes sense.
Which significantly increases your odds of having an accident or causing an accident, either one.
Right. So I guess people don't really think about that a lot, do they, about how they're supposed to park?
No, they don't. And it's like you're not supposed to park within 25 feet of a fire hydrant, 20 feet from a crosswalk. You're not supposed to park within 30 feet of a stop sign, or 50 feet from a railroad crossing. And basically what that does, it takes your visibility from those areas away if you park any closer than that. It's set there to give you that extra safety for that person crossing the road, or the fire department can get their machinery or their trucks in there, or for you to make sure that you can see that train from the distance that you need to see it from.
What would happen? I hadn't thought about that, but if you parked in front of a fire hydrant, for instance, and they need that fire hydrant, people just have to push the car out of the way or something.
That can happen. I haven't known of it happening. I'm sure that. Well, we would work with the fire department trying to find out who owned the vehicle. It all depends. If it's a rare, very strong emergency, we would have to move the vehicle for them, possibly.
And there are some relative to parking. It seems like I remember there's something different if you people who have a truck and a trailer, like these lawn maintenance people. Aren't you supposed to park facing the traffic, or is it different than?
It needs to be. There has to be a safety zone in there. You should be able, you should still park all the way from those areas that you need to park from. Need to make sure that you're visible, and that there's visibility around you. There's no in a curve or something or a curve coming up. You need to park within that area to where there is visibility. They're supposed to have cones out put around so that they could be more visible also.
And I guess a lot of this stuff it's kind of common sense, but
it's just stuff you don't think about.
But you probably don't think about it all the time. Do you write a lot of tickets because of people who park in the wrong way?
No, what we try to do is educate first. We're not out there to try to take money from anyone. We want to educate first. And we got a system where, we can ask you to move. We may even write you a warning for that, which is there's no fee implications at all into that. If we have written you a warning before and we have to tell you again, then you're more than likely going to get a citation for that, which it generally runs around $126 for a citation for parking against traffic.
Right.
But our main objective is to educate you so that we can cut down on our accidents and that we can make the roads a safer place to travel.
You mentioned if we gave you a warning before and then you did it again, I don't want you to disclose anything that might be secret, but do you have some way to keep up with that?
Yeah, all the officers have computers in their vehicles, and we're on a database system. And in this database system, whenever a warning or citation is written or report is written, it's all stored in this database. And they can go in and look this information up, look you up by name, your tag number to your vehicles, whatever, and they can pull it up to see if you've see what your history is. If you've had a warning for, let's say, trespassing or parking against traffic or speeding or running a stop sign or anything to that effect, they pull it up and can see how many times you've had that warning or how many times you've had a citation. And an officer looks at that and says, I guess they're not, this is the first time. Or, if you run someone's driver's license and they've never had anything on their driver's license history before, you do not want to be the first one to put something on there if there's an option there for you to do that.
Right.
It's just left at the officer's discretion on that.
So we're way past the days where you'd have to just remember that you've given that person the
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Okay, unbelievable. By the same token, I'm wondering, I know domestic violence is probably, I think you mentioned the last time you were here, it's probably one of the most scary situations or a situation where something can go terribly wrong. But so by the same token, do you have means of knowing when you get a domestic violence call at a certain address? Do you have you probably know, have there been calls there before? Do you?
Well, most of the time the officers are pretty familiar with the ones that are repeats that we go to on a regular basis. But however, the communications center has a log of it also. They can go back and look, and officer can ask, have we got any history at this location? And the communications people there can come back and tell you exactly what the history was on there, how many calls we've had there, how often they were, when the last one was. And, also, too, when we have if you go there and it's a verbal argument, which, that happens quite a bit, but you got to be careful that this don't escalate in the future. So we have a tracking. There's different types of reports that we do for these. It's like there's a verbal domestic report. We write this just verbal in nature. No one did anything. It's just that they had a disagreement. But in the future, to protect a victim or protect the police, protect anyone involved in this, what we will do is we can go back and look at those reports and see that it's escalated over time, which is a good use for the District Attorney General's office and or having a hope that can really help a victim out of a domestic case.
Are you making an arrest a lot of the times when you're going into a domestic violence situation, or?
Well, most of the time we are. The law states the officer shall make an arrest when there is a probable cause or that there is a primary aggressor. A lot of times an officer is faced with these where you just don't know.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you have to take some time. Those calls take some time sometimes to sit there, and not all of them are that easy. You can't walk in and just see it right there that this is the problem.
Of course.
Sometimes you have to sit down and talk to them. We separate the folks and we sit and talk to them, and sometimes we're able to walk out of there with this is just disagreement that people who live together are going to have.
Sure.
And you can walk away from that and maybe offer some help.
Yeah.
And let them know some people they can talk to and maybe give them some help in that way.
I imagine in not just domestic violence calls, but a lot of calls, especially if they involve weapons or something like that, that information you probably get from the communication center, there's probably some things you'd like to know as you're on your way there.
If they know that,
yeah,
that's the scary part, and they don't know most of the time.
Yeah,
they can only tell us what they're told.
Right.
And the people on scene or the person that's next door calling in heard the fighting or heard the yelling. They don't know, so we're just going by what we know.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, I used to run a bar for many, many years, and a lot of times when we would encounter situations where a husband and wife would get in an argument, and you're trying to break that up and diffuse that situation, a lot of times they both end up mad at you.
Oh, yes.
Does that happen in police work?
It does.
Yeah.
And you know, it's understandable.
Yeah.
It is understandable because you got two people who live together.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're married.
Yeah.
You know, you're now, my wife and I are in an argument. Now you're arguing with my wife, or now
Right.
you're arguing with my husband. It's their tendency to take up for their spouse.
Yeah, right. So and
they don't want to see their spouse in trouble.
Sure.
You know,
Right. Even if they are very mad at them at the time, you know. Okay. Yeah. Amazing things that the police officers everywhere, especially, and we're talking about Tullahoma in particular, but police officers, a lot of things they got to deal with every day.
Yes, sir.
All right. George, thank you so much for coming by. This is, by the way, Captain, I haven't probably mentioned that, Captain Marsh. So anyway, doing a great job in the week or so that he's been, less than a week.
Yes, sir.
That he's been chief of police, but I'm confident we'll be in good hands.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back, folks, with more living right after this.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman. This is Pat Welch and John. We're here today for segment 84 of the Conversation with John and Pat. It's going to be a thrill to do it.
I got a song that Joe Nunley and I wrote together. The Yankees took us prisoner in 1862. There were so many of them, there was nothing we could do. They stole our cow and chickens, and Mama's face turned red. She quickly grabbed a musket and shot one in the head. They snatched the rifle from her hands and knocked her to the ground. They locked us in the courthouse in Murfreesboro town. They woke me up next morning and they chained me to a stone. Said your mama shot a soldier boy and we're shooting you come down. And I heard the hoofbeats drumming as them Rebs came charging in. And they rode a tall gray figure out in front of his brave men. It was the Wizard of the Saddle, in my memory I still see General Nathan Bedford Forrest and his mounted cavalry. day was just a breaking when I heard that awesome sound of old Bedford's gray-clad cavalry on the main street of the town. Rebel yells and Dixie seemed to fill the morning air. Sim Forrest and his raiders were fighting everywhere. But when the battle ended and the smoke and dust had cleared, the prisoners in the courthouse all began to cheer. Old Forrest drew his saber and he'd cut the chains from me. The wizard of the saddle had set Murfreesboro free. And I heard the hoofbeats drumming as them ribs came charging in, and they rode a tall gray figure out in front of his brave men. It was the wizard of the saddle, in my memory I still see General Nathan Bedford Forrest and his mounted cavalry. It was the wizard of the saddle, in my memory I still see General Nathan Bedford Forrest and his mounted cavalry.
Excellent. Now, John, let's get our viewership up to snuff on your co-writer there. Professor Nunley, did he teach in the Department of History or Education?
He was a Chapel Hill native, coached at Lynchburg. We did a story on him, won his team beating Shirley Major's Huntland group. But he went then professor at MTSU.
In which department?
History, I think.
Okay.
But he became alumni director over at MTSU.
He was really well known and really well respected.
Nice guy, good guy. And he loved history. And that was a song about Bedford Forrest. My great-great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather. Put a picture of my great-great-grandfather. His name's Peril Columbus Haynes. You see it down at the bottom. And that was him in his Civil War uniform. And it was interesting how I got a hold of this picture. We didn't have it in the family pictures, but I met another relative that had it. My grandmother referred to him as the old colonel. Grew up in Cornersville, southern Marshall County, where his daddy had a Revolutionary War grant. And he had a brother named Milton James Rufus. And he and old Colonel, they all went and fought in the Mexican War. And it was interesting, James Rufus died of measles in Lavaca, Texas. And they went down.
While he was in the service?
While he was in the service. And I'm not sure how his body came back. I don't know if PC helped bring it back. I don't know all the circumstances on that. I haven't really researched that.
Do you know where he's buried?
I know where the Hayneses are buried. It's in a cemetery there in Cornersville.
Okay.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it. But
add that to the list of places we can stop on.
That's right. It's a beautiful cemetery. And they went down as far as Veracruz, Mexico, on their in the Mexican War. Land grants were given to Mexican War soldiers. Well, the P.C. Haynes bought up several land grants from people who got them, and these land grants were in Iowa. He went up there and discovered where these tracks were and lived up there quite a while. He came back to marry Melissa Patterson, and they went up there, and they had a couple of 3 kids up there that were raised in that were born in Iowa. But then they moved back down to Tennessee, near her parents' home place out west of Chapel Hill, and that's where they lived. And then PC was called into service after Tennessee came into the Civil War, and he entered as a captain. And he was under James Starnes. We see a marker out here on the Manchester Highway down Hawker Smith Road where Starnes was killed out that road.
We've had a segment on that.
Yeah. And he was wounded February 3rd, 1863 at Fort Donelson. There was a bullet that came, mini ball came at him, hit him right under the right nostril. I've always heard it said the farther away from the heart or the head, maybe you'll live more often. But back at that time, they didn't deal with germs like they do now.
I've listened to this story a few times, at least that injury, and it instantly took out all his teeth on the right side of his upper plate.
Deafness in his right ear.
his paralysis in his eye, face drooped. He wore a goggle or patch over it. My grandmother called it a goggle. And teeth out. This was...
And he's a little bit had trouble with his face sagging on that side, and he had an extremely difficult time chewing.
The Dr. Gooch, acting surgeon, the 28th Tennessee Cavalry, wrote this one: the ball entering the superior maxillary bone under the right nostril, knocking out the teeth of the upper jaw on the right side, fraction of the lower jaw, and lodging in the back of the head, producing paralysis of the muscles in the right side of the face, confirmed deafness of the right ear, and inability to close the right eye. The mouth can be at best slightly open, rendering eating most difficult and laborious. I further
That's exactly what we said, but in much more medical terms.
Recovery of these injuries will be distant, and if at all. The way he was injured, he, Forrest, Starnes, and a bunch of other troopers were riding down on Fort Donelson trying to capture some men, and they were going to use them as shields to go into the fort. I can't imagine what it took to do that sort of thing. But anyway, he was hit. Forrest's horse went down. Starnes was injured. It was a bad scene. But it was real cold. February 3rd. It had been snowing and all. Maybe that's what saved his life. You know, the cold weather. Don't know that. But he resigned from the Confederate Army, but he stayed on in the Invalid Corps for the remainder of the time. And May 9th, 1864, they surrendered. Maybe that seemed like it'd be 1865. And he did menial chores around it because this really affected him, his head entirely. Mm-hmm. He would come back to Chapel Hill and live. Let's see him in
a little bit a charitable term like the eccentric.
Eccentric. Yeah. Show a picture of him in later life. There he is as an older man. He always turned away from the camera a little bit. You can see he probably had a glass eye, some sort of, he didn't, so he always turned away from camera.
He was definitely into profile
That's photography. Right. Go to that next one. There he is, and he was a prominent man around Chapel Hill. He was a member of the Cumberland Presbyterian Church, and then he was
Is that the one on the grounds of Forest School?
On the right side of Forest, and it was established in 1836, I believe. And I know those men around him. I won't go into detail who they are, but Merritt's one of them, and I can't remember the others. But anyway,
were you related to any of them, John?
No,
the Colonel.
Colonel's on the right lower side there.
Again, favoring, he wants a profile.
That's right.
Look.
That's right. And then the next one, next picture, that's him with a goggle. My grandmother said a goggle on his eye out in front of a house there in Chapel Hill. I think that was his daughter and son, but I'd have to look at my notes to see if that's the case. And we said eccentric now. Let's go to the next one, Philip. This was done in 1891. This out in on the farm there west of Chapel Hill. And look, do you see pictures in that picture? They brought out deceased family members and put them in the picture. Let's get old grandpa or whatever. Let's put them in the picture
too. It's really kind of
too.
touching that they had such reverence for their relatives that they included pictures of.
We need to think about doing that ourselves, don't we? They have shotguns in the picture, and there's old Colonel in the middle. He has that white beard, and down below him is his wife, Melissa. The Colonel lived to be 81 years of age, and even though he got wounded early in life, and Melissa died 14 years before he did, so he lived to be an old age. Let's show that next picture. That's him out in front in his mule yard. Now, the war was over in 1865, and this picture was done on the same day that family picture was done. And there he is, the Colonel. And I didn't realize this, and I don't think anybody in our family did, until we made a real close-up. This is about as close as we can get for this, for the television here. He has a sword, his old Confederate sword, in his right hand. And he's got a powder horn over his shoulder, and behind him, I think he might have his hand crooked around behind him, holding an American flag. And that's what I think is so wonderful about this. You know, you might argue with the fact the Civil War wasn't a proper war or whatever. This man, and a lot of folks like him, came back into the United States. He was a Mexican war soldier. He was an American. He then went into the Confederate Army. He wasn't an American. He wanted to pull away from America. Now, he's solidly back in with the United States.
It was a terrible war, but it was incredible how the wounds healed. Mm-hmm. And some argue that we still have problems north and south today, but we don't have problems like they have in Europe. When groups of people have despised one another for literally thousands of years.
I've thought about that, and I think the way capitalism, I think, makes it all heal better.
You think money makes it?
The North and the South, there's cotton to be sold back, there's food to be, and capitalism helps out.
As the South had to rebuild, there was always a need for investment then.
Swords, spurs, and the Masonic apron were in a box in the Masonic Hall at Chapel Hill, and they were stolen somewhere along the way. So we don't have that sword anymore. Pat, that's about it. We've had enough talking about the Colonel.
Well, that was a fine segment, 84, and we have balanced 84 with 83. We had a segment that featured Union, and now we've had one that has centered on the South. We want to make sure everybody realizes we're fair and balanced.
Exactly.
You're right. And that does it for 84. We hope that management will bring us back for 85 as we march to 100. Thank y'all.
Talking history about the Sandman. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Kay and Greg Gillum have added another touch of excellence to their furniture business. Now a newly stocked 20,000 square foot Badcock Home Furniture and More location in Tullahoma, Tennessee. Locally owned and operated and offering the same friendly professional service with the best prices on name brand products like their sister store in Winchester, Tennessee has for years. Visit the new Tullahoma location and shop name brand bedroom suites, electronic department with computers, tablets, 4K televisions, and accessories. A large complete appliance center to fit the style of any household. Beautiful selection of rugs that complement any person's taste. A variety of living room combinations all in one large showroom. That's right, Badcock Home Furniture and More has added a new location. 373 West Lincoln Street, Tullahoma, Tennessee. Offering special prices year-round. Financing is always available. Speedy delivery to your home or office. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday, noon to 5 p.m. Call 931-222-4353.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and it is almost the time of year. Well, it is the time of year, but it's almost the weekend for the American Legion Auxiliary Poppy Sale. And we have Diane Robinson and Fran, my wife Fran Gray, here this morning to talk to us about the Poppy Sale. And Diane is the chairman for the Women's Ladies Auxiliary at the American Legion Post.
Right.
So, fill us in.
Well,
what's going to take place?
It's our annual Poppy Drive, trying to raise money for our veterans, and we try to support a ward up at Murfreesboro at the hospital. That's what we use a lot of the money for, and helping other families in the area. And it's going to be May 18th and 19th. We'll be at Traders Bank on Friday the 18th and Ascend Credit Union. And on Saturday the 19th, we'll be at Walmart.
Okay.
And that's the only places we're going to be this year. So.
Well, and you know that we used to have the American Legion itself used to have the paper sale and stuff, and that's back when you could go on the street corners and be around a lot of traffic. And there's so much traffic now that it's not safe to do that kind of thing anymore.
No, it's not.
So,
people don't want you there.
they don't want to be bothered by you and whatever you're trying to raise money for. So search out these ladies to where you can give them some money, because it's a great cause, caring for our veterans that are in hospitals. And Fran, I think you're going to give us maybe a little history.
Well, the Poppy Day started after World War I in Europe, and it is still observed there and of course here. And we want to remember all of our veterans, particularly the ones who have given their lives for our freedoms. And there are so many great needs still, and we don't hear maybe as much about our veterans as we need to, but there are so many veterans in medical care. Our Alvin C. York Medical Center in Murfreesboro is the place that Diane was referring to. And for years, the auxiliary in Tullahoma has gone and cared for veterans there. We've adopted several over the years to give special gifts to remember for their birthdays and their and special holidays. We have had parties up there for a certain ward. Yes, and the need is so great. There are a lot of homeless veterans these days. A lot of veterans who come back from service and they don't have a job, they don't have a family, they're really disenfranchised. So we try to seek them out and provide services and care and appreciation for the veterans. We all know that our World War II veterans are dying off, and we have so many more now who have served in the Middle East, and we have our National Guard here on our continent, and we just need to remember them and thank them and show our appreciation for them. So I remember as a little girl, we would have the little red poppy flowers, made of crepe paper. They're made by veterans. And then we had the fun and the privilege of asking people to make a donation for a poppy. So it's a really good and simple way to remember our veterans and thank them for their service.
Very
and
good.
so we would really appreciate people seeking out our American Legion Auxiliary volunteers as they stand at Traders Bank and Ascend Federal Credit Union and Walmart to say thank you for helping support our veterans. So we try to do that locally as well as in these facilities.
Right.
So this has been going on, like I say, for
long time.
About
long time.
About 100 years.
Well, you know, Diane, at one point when the Legion Post was out in the big building, you know, we would bring a bunch of them down from time to time, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, and have a party there. That's hard to do now, isn't it, to get with all the rules and regulations with people in hospitals and stuff. It's really hard to get them out of the facility.
I don't know if they don't take them out. We don't anymore.
So we travel, the ladies travel up there.
Wilma Keene, she takes pizzas up there and goes up there several times a year. And
those guys and girls, just you have no idea how they light up when someone comes to visit and someone comes and says thanks, because like Fran said, these are the people who stand on the wall to secure your life and to make sure that you have an opportunity to live in the freest country in the history of man, the United States of America, and also the rest of the world we help protect. And there's not enough you can do for those people who take their lives and dedicate it to your freedom. So please remember them and seek out these ladies and you know, even if it's change, that's fine. But if it can, the more you can do, the more we can help, right?
Yeah, we have a nice town, and people are quite charitable here. They stop and talk to us, and
that's good.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention too that the American Legion Auxiliary is always looking for new members, and we meet on Atlantic Street. When the larger post went away, I think some people had the misconception that the Legion went away too,
yeah.
But it did not. And American Legion Post 43 is still very active in the community, as is the Auxiliary and the Sons of the American Legion.
Right.
And the Auxiliary meets the fourth Thursday of the month at 6 o'clock there on Atlantic Street. And we would invite any woman or girl who has had a relative in service to come and join us. And it gives you a great sense of patriotism and service.
Yeah, and that building's about halfway between the hotel on the corner and the avenues, and it sits right in the middle of that block there, and it's got signage on it, American Legion Post 43. It's real easy to find, and you know those girls have a good time. They've supported the Legion for years and years and years, and a lot of times there's some good to eat around where they are too, because these women know how to cook. They were brought up in a generation where you learned how to cook, and it's good stuff.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you, John.
We appreciate you very much and what you do, all you ladies do, and my love, thank you for your service in so many ways and doing so many things.
It's our honor to care for veterans.
It is an honor to serve. And just remember that this is coming, not this weekend, but next weekend, right?
Yeah.
And that will be at Traders Bank on Friday and Ascend Federal Credit Union and at Walmart on Saturday. Dig deep, give well, and give often. We'll be right back.
The day the Lord created hope could be the same day he created spring.
Springtime's here. It's a good time to get our air conditioners checked out before those hot summer days get here. We've been here for a little over 35 years. It's been our pleasure to serve our community. We'd like to thank you for Tullahoma's finest, and from all of us to all of you.
Thank you!
Cool off at Southern Middle Tennessee's newest water park, Tullahoma's Splash Island. Fun for all ages. 3 25-foot water slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items available. All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 to 9 p.m. Sundays, 1 to 6. Join the fun at Tullahoma's Splash Island.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma and Winchester. Check out the 2018 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the F-150. $9,000 off for the super bad 2018 Ford Mustang. 460 horsepower. And my question is, why buy anywhere else?
Welcome back. I am so glad I have on the set today with me Kelly North from Tullahoma, but working out of Shelbyville.
Yes,
correct.
Yes, the Shelbyville Bedford County Chamber of Commerce.
And tell me quickly what's going on.
So we're very
educational, right?
Yes, we're very excited. We have been working together as a collective community. Our great teachers in Bedford County and our business leaders and the community as a whole to try to give our students some incentive to make improvements on their ACT scores. And next week, country music stars Big and Rich will be performing a concert at the Calsonic Arena.
That in itself is exciting.
It's so exciting.
But the fact that it's for education is awesome.
Yes. So back in November, this concert was the brainchild of our Career and Technical Education Director, Miss Joy Rich, who happens to be the sister of John Rich from Big and Rich. It does not. She's brilliant. She's done a fantastic job building up our Career and Technical Education programs this year, as well as getting our students engaged and our educators engaged in helping these kids to
for
boost those
people
ACT
out
scores.
there that might not know what technical career is, give them an idea of some of the things that
some
happen.
examples of career and technical education would be our welders,
electricians, maybe?
Electricians, plumbers.
And the world is void of a lot of those wonderful people.
Yes, they are. And I don't think that our students always realize that there's opportunities.
Exactly.
So many great opportunities at our technical schools. Tennessee College of Applied Technology, fantastic school. The programs that they have there
and how
are
long
amazing.
does it take for a person to get a technical degree, approximately?
I think maybe around a year.
And by then you can get a job.
By then you can get a job.
You can work for a company, or you can own your own business.
Absolutely.
Actually,
there's so many things that you can do.
They get certified. So
yes, there's so many things that you can do with
opportunity.
Technical education.
Well, let's talk about the concert a little bit.
Yes,
Cal Sonic Arena. And it's what night?
May 15th, Tuesday, 1 week from tonight.
It's Tuesday night,
yes,
right.
Tuesday, May 15th.
I was trying to remember. Tuesday night. And tickets are?
Tickets are on sale now at the Chamber of Commerce in Shelbyville and on ShelbyvilleTN.com. Ticket prices start at $35.
Okay.
So, and we have some different options for ticket pricing. If someone maybe wanted a VIP experience, there's an option available there. Big and Rich will be doing a Q&A session with all of our students.
Oh, that's great.
And
And
VIP
you said
ticket
that,
holders.
did you just tell me that 600 students?
We have had over 600 students earn a ticket to the concert. So in order to earn a ticket to the concert,
that's phenomenal.
Yes, they had to score either a 21 or better on their ACT or make a 2-point gain. So we've had over 600 students that have either scored a 21 or better or make a 2-point gain. It's fantastic. What it does for these students is it expands their college going opportunities, opens the door to scholarship potential, and really helps to unlock the doors to their future potential.
And Big and Rich are doing this concert, if I'm not mistaken, for free.
Yes,
all the
ma'am.
money goes to this.
Yes.
This work.
All of the net proceeds will go back to Bedford County Schools and the Shelbyville-Bedford County Chamber of Commerce Partners in Education Program.
And now, is some of this money going into the high school?
Yes.
And does it also go into the technical school after high school, or is it just into
right
the
now
schools?
it's just into the public school system, into the high schools to
So
help.
they're being trained already in technical activities?
Yes, I believe we have between 10 to 12 career and technical education programs that range from health sciences to cybersecurity, information technology. Great programs.
That's
great
wonderful.
programs in Shelbyville.
You know, I think people forget that we need more than just college graduates.
Yes, ma'am.
We need technical
Yes.
graduates.
Yes, we need people with those technical
we need
skills.
people to come to my house and fix my plumbing.
Well,
or-
there are great opportunities when you have a technical background, and because we need those types of people, there are a lot more opportunities available.
And I think that people that are hurting for a job, if they can, do you know how expensive it is to get a technical education?
Oh.
It's all right if you don't.
I don't have the tuition. I know how expensive it is right now in terms of my own education. But as a student right now, it's a great time to be a student in the state of Tennessee with Tennessee Promise, even as an adult learner with Tennessee Reconnect. Our adult learners can go back to school tuition free to a 2-year community college.
I was just wondering that if some of that applies to the technical education, like a person that wants to get a technical degree, can they apply for a scholarship through this?
Yes, through
work?
the Tennessee Promise program, they can. In terms of what we're trying to do to help boost ACT scores, students have to have a certain score or at least take the test to remain eligible in the program, and that helps to ensure that they get their Tennessee Promise scholarship money to go on to a technical school or a 2-year community college.
I think it's fabulous. There it is, right there on TV. Write that down, and you get all the information that you need about the concert. Do you know what time it starts?
So doors open at 5 p.m. for VIP ticket holders only, and then the artist Q&A will start at 5:30.
And they probably get some fun extra things.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Do we
There's
want to talk about that?
So all of our VIP ticket holders get a Think Big T-shirt. Our motto, our theme this year is to think big.
Good.
So we've really been trying to encourage our students to think big when it comes to preparing for their future.
Sure.
So there's a Think Big T-shirt. There is a VIP All Access lanyard, and then VIP ticket holders and the students will get a special artist Q&A session.
That's
so
great.
There'll be a Q&A
So they
session
get
with
a
Big and
chance
Rich.
to talk with Big and Rich.
Yes.
That would be fun.
So doors open to the general public at 6. The show starts at 7. Big Smo, who is a Bedford County native, will be
We all
opening.
know about Big Smo.
Yes, and we're very excited.
Is he like playing before
he is
Big and Rich
yes,
come on?
Yes, he'll play
It'll
before
be a
Big and
great
Rich.
concert.
It really will. I'm
Do you
so
have any
excited.
idea how long they'll play?
So the show will probably end around 9:30.
That's
It
good.
is a
It is
school
on
night.
Tuesday,
It is a
right.
Tuesday night. It is a school night. We want to make sure everybody gets back to school on time on Monday morning. So
But you know what? I don't think it'd be so bad to be a little late after this wonderful
I
opportunity.
think it'd be okay too. And you know what? 608 students.
I think that's terrific.
Huge. So we want to celebrate
And all
that.
those kids need to be congratulated.
Yes, they do.
A lot of work went
Yes,
into that.
yes, it
and a lot
did.
of dedication. And
So the students participated in an ACT prep course before the test. They did a ACT boot camp. It's really been an all-hands-on-deck approach in Bedford County to see some improvements in the students' ACT
I'm hoping
scores.
that that's spilling over into the other counties.
I sure hope so too. I sure hope so
Because
too.
you're making a wonderful statement.
Well, we
really
have
are.
such a great we have a great collective community of people
I
in
think you do.
Shelbyville
I
that
think-
are working really hard to
improve education, and just
yes.
improve life itself.
Absolutely,
Which
yes.
is not all about the horse show.
Right. Right.
There's many more things going on, but the horse show's fun.
Oh, the horse show's great.
And
We
the
love the horse
Calisonic
show.
Arena, I think it seats 5,000 people.
7,000 actually.
Is it 7,000?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you don't have a ticket, I think you can still go to the door.
Yes,
There'll
you
probably
can buy
be-
tickets at the
there'll
door.
probably still be some tickets.
We have tickets on sale at the Chamber of Commerce in Shelbyville.
So you can pick those up?
Yes, or online.
Well, Kelly, you're going to have to come back because
Oh, I'd
we're
love
about to
to.
run out of time.
Okay.
And good luck on the concert
Thank you.
Tuesday night, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Nice to
having me.
meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well.
We'll be back.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat. You know, they do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the Paintworks at 1960 North Washington Street and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fix you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Last week, there was a Special Olympics for special needs people, and I am so excited to show this film to you today because what a great opportunity for all these people.
After being postponed the week before due to inclement weather, the annual Area Special Olympics got underway under beautiful sunny skies.
Summer Games opening ceremony of the Area 13 Special Olympics began. This year's theme is celebrating 50 years. If we can go ahead and have a hand for our athletes. The Special Olympics flag is being carried by Ryan Archibald of Lynchburg Elementary and Sergeant Griffin. Please welcome them. Joining us now is Colonel Raymond Briggs.
Special Olympics transforms lives through the joy of sports every day, everywhere. For more than 43 years, Special Olympics has been spreading the message that people with intellectual disabilities can and will succeed when given the chance. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much.
We now welcome Gary Giselle, previous Area 13 Director.
Thanks for all of you folks in the stands cheering our athletes. Athletes, you look awesome. Volunteers, you look awesome also. I think outside the stadium, as we have done in years past, we've got some very special guests, and I would like for those individuals to come into the stadium at this time, please.
Following a tradition as old as the Olympic Games themselves. All right, as these folks make their way around the track, please welcome them. Again, they've been running all morning, bringing our torch and representing the Area 13 Special Olympics. They'll be bringing the torch to Darius Battles and Sergeant Griffin as they will help light our torch this morning. Here he goes, Darius. He's not messing around. Darius Battles and Sergeant, I don't know if Sergeant Griffin can keep up with Darius. Darius has obviously been preparing for this. So continue to cheer on Darius as he makes his way around the stadium with our Olympic torch. Great job, Darius. He's almost around. Continue to cheer him on. There it is, it's lit. Now we want to welcome Susie Foster, the Special Olympics Area 13 Director. Good morning, Susie.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody that came out today. Give yourselves a hand. Carrie Matchett formed this here in this 5-county area 40 years ago this year. She's unable to be here due to some medical issues in her family, and she expressed her sympathy that she could not be here today. But I'm sure she's proud that all of you are. So, Gary and Chip have been doing this. Gary's been the area director for the last 5 years. And in appreciation to that, I would like to, on behalf of all of you in Special Olympics, I would like to present them with a token of our appreciation. It says, presented to Gary and Chip Gazelle in appreciation of your dedication as area directors to Special Olympics Lower Cumberland Region. Thank you both, Gary and Chip. Now the next big announcement is Coach of the Year. As you all know, this is my very first time doing Special Olympics. And here I am as area director.
seen you do it really loud and really excited. I know that you guys get ready for this and you prepare for this and train for it and look for it all year long. So I need you to give us that oath as loud as you can and as excited as I know you are. You guys ready? Let me win. But if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. Incredible. And we declare the 2018 Area 13 Special Olympics Summer Games open.
I'm speaking with Suzanne Foster, who is the new area director for the Special Olympics. And Suzanne, we could not ask for a more gorgeous day, could we?
We did good from last Thursday.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
We're blessed.
How's this experience been for your first year coming on and undertaking this task?
So awesome. Ask me today when this is all going on, and it's awesome. It's been just a joy to watch all these athletes and enjoy their events and winning and getting their medals and their ribbons. They've been so excited.
Oh, yes. And just to see, their faces everybody is just beaming with happiness
and
today.
We did have a lot of volunteers show up that we weren't expecting. So
that's always great.
Awesome.
Yeah, always great. We can have more hands on deck.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yes.
Just briefly, what was your motivation to say, hey, I'd like to step up and take on this?
My motivation was I didn't want it to go away, and that was what was happening.
Yeah.
So, yes, I knew that they told me if nobody stepped up, it was in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't imagine this not being available to the athletes. So I said, if you haven't got anybody, I guess I'll do it. So, here I am.
Oh, well, Suzanne, we can't thank you enough for stepping up and giving your time and your effort, and all the volunteers who are here, and not just here, from the entire region and the area. Yes. And I know there is a website you had plugged with us last week. Is there a website if people want any other information?
Well, you can get on, we're on Facebook for Tennessee Area 13, Tennessee Special Olympics Area 13. Or if anybody needs to connect with me, we have an email address, which is tn13@outlook.com.
Excellent. No, that's great. And so if any folks, want to get on board for next year, help out.
We have events all year round.
That's right. So anyone needing any information, absolutely contact these great people. Suzanne, again, we can't thank you enough for the great work you're doing, and a great first year, and hopefully many more.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
All right, folks, we're back, and I couldn't be any happier than a pig, unless I was a pig in slop or a chicken in a barrel of corn. I've got my buddy and one of my heroes on the show with me today, Becky Buller, the incredibly talented Miss Becky Buller of the B3 Band.
Thank you for having me back, John.
Becky Buller Band. And
I hope I'm not wearing y'all out. I keep coming back.
There's no way you can wear us out. Talent, there's no way talent can wear someone out. And you exude it, you drip it. You know, we were over at the Panapalooza or whatever that thing's.
Panbaloo, yeah.
Panbaloo.
Third annual Panbaloo on the square in Manchester.
Yeah, we showed that video last week.
Thank you for doing that.
But you've got a whole lot of really neat stuff going on. And we love to hear you sing and play. That's the whole deal. We're entertaining you folks out there for free is what we're doing. This girl right here is mighty, mighty talented. Give us a little rundown, because the season is starting now, the festival season, and all of you're on the road a bunch.
Yeah.
Sort of give us a clue about what's happening to Becky.
Well, what I'm here mainly to talk about right now is on May 19th, I'm going to be at Birdsong Studio for a special duo gig with Nate Lee, who plays mandolin and fiddle in the Becky Buller Band. Super talented guy. And this is really rare that we do a duo gig. In fact, it's our very first duo gig together ever. And but we're practiced up, and we're really excited to be doing this. We'll be doing some songs that the band normally does, but of course pared down to just a couple instruments. But we're also going to throw in some new songs that I've written, some tunes that he loves, some tunes from his instrumental record. Plays well with others.
I love that. What a great title.
And then some other fun songs that we just love. You know, we're going to do some covers from some bands that we enjoy. So it's going to be a really great night of music on May 19th. As you can see right there, that's a Saturday, 7:30 in Woodbury, Tennessee at Birdsong Studio. And if you're going to come, you're going to want to get your tickets ahead of time, because it's an intimate setting. It only seats about 75 people. So you'll want to get your tickets ahead of time.
Is this like a festival event, or is it an inside
event?
No,
it's a concert. It's inside. It's an old Presbyterian church that they've restored and now have concerts in. And in fact, we recorded a music video there last year, my very first music video ever for the song Speaking to That Mountain. And it's a very pretty place.
I see some paper on the table down here that has that on it.
Yeah.
So we might get to hear that today.
Yeah. Do you want me to sing it right now?
Well, you can tell us a little bit, or you can sing it right now and then tell us some more later.
Yeah, let's do that.
Seeing as how you brought that up, Speaking to the Mountain.
I'm speaking to that mountain, and brother, I believe God above can move it, but He might want to move me. Trials and tribulations mark the path of life, from pebbles in my shoes to boulders I can't climb. But what might seem like stumbling blocks standing in my way are just a few more stepping stones to help me build my faith. I'm speaking to that mountain, and brother, I believe God above can move it, but He might want to move me. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, faced with that fiery furnace so many years ago. They said, Nebuchadnezzar, our God can bring us through, but even if He doesn't, we're never gonna bow to you. Oh, I'm speaking to that mountain, brother, I believe God above can move it, but He might want to move me. We should end it now, but we know God has reasons for all that He allows. We're praying through the vanquish, none are will, but that be done. All the while still pleading, Father, heal our son. I'm speaking to that mountain, and brother, I believe God above can move it, but it might want to move me. Oh, I'm speaking to that mountain, and brother, I believe God above can move it, but it might want to move me.
Becky Buller, speaking to the mountain, you speaking to me, girl. Wow.
Thank you.
You're so good.
Oh.
Yar.
Oh, you're sweeter than sourwood honey.
Sweeter than sourwood honey. Hey, have you had any different pimento cheese lately?
No, not here recently, but I've had some folks have posted some new pimento cheeses on my Facebook page that I really need to try out.
All right.
Which I'll be doing while we're on the road with the Becky Buller Band, traveling to a town near you.
She carries a cooler full of ice to keep her pimento cheese cool.
We have been known to do that. Yes, yes.
Okay, so what's next? What's next after the 19th?
After the 19th, let's see. Well, this week and next week, I'm hosting the Bluegrass Ridge video show on Heartland TV. So the week of the 7th and the week of the 14th. So if you watch Heartland TV, check that out, please. It's all videos from bluegrass artists.
And where did you go to do that?
In Nashville. We went to, let me think, I think it was the Music Parlor Studio, just a recording studio, and they set me up right there by the console and filmed me introducing videos. It was really fun.
I bet. Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations for you.
Thank you.
You're just getting to do all kinds of neat stuff, aren't you?
I know. And nobody's more surprised than me.
I know, and that's what makes you so cool.
I'm so grateful.
Is it fun being Becky Buller right now?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it is. Always.
And you took Romy fishing this weekend.
We did. We took her down to Old Stone Fort. So my husband is from Manchester. Mm-hmm. It's his hometown. His family has been in Manchester since before coffee was a county. So they go way back.
All the way?
Way back, yeah, all the way to the beginning. And one of his favorite things to do as a kid was to go fishing at Old Stone Fort. So, and he bought, excuse me, he bought Romy a fishing pole a few weeks ago, and she's been practicing casting in the house. Parents of the Year, yeah. And it's a frozen fishing pole, so it's got Elsa and Anna on it, which, makes it
it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, she loves it. Absolutely loves it.
All right, we got a little bit of time left here. What else are you going to do for us?
So I was going to do the song that you and I wrote because I wanted. I'm sorry, guys. I hit the microphone. So John and I wrote this song back in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been trying to get together for a while to write, and we finally did. And I love this song. I love the way it turned out.
Now we need to give you one piece of information. This is a guy singing this song.
Yeah, I was thinking that. It should be sung by a guy.
Yeah. So beautiful as she is and crystal clear as that voice is, think about a good old boy, just a good old boy, singing this song to a girl.
All right. It's called The Wrong Kind of Rich. Are you really sure you want to do this? You know what I bring to the game. I ain't never set out to hurt nobody. I've still got my good name. I'm a hard worker, I'm loyal, I'm strong. You'll never catch me where I don't belong. I've got a good heart, it's true. You'll find a fortune in my love for you, but I'm the wrong kind of rich. If you can't afford to live poor, I have no desire for worldly possessions. I'm only passing through. I'll do my best to see you need nothing, 'cause all that I need is you. I hope to become the man you deserve. I'd have more than matters if you say the word, but all of his gold couldn't buy enough time. I'd give forever if you'll be mine, but I'm the wrong kind of rich. If you can't afford to live poor, am I what you're looking for? 'Cause I'm the wrong kind of rich. If you can't afford to live poor, oh, I'm the wrong kind of rich. If you can't afford to live poor.
Becky Muller, we got to say bye, darling.
All right.
We're out of time.
Bye, y'all.
See you next time.